Hey, Hunters, Halo Zoo here for our continuation of the Psion overview, the Psion Update overview. So we're going to talk about the subclasses. First off, the Psi Warper. It's not here because apparently it went exceptionally well, and they didn't feel like they needed another playtest. They know what they're doing with it, which I guess is fine. It was actually pretty good for the Psion subclasses, as I recall. So it was in a decent place where it was like, hey, it's a teleport build that's actually kind of cool. And does some interesting stuff. So, fair enough. It still needs some tuning, of course, but that's what always happens. Then we go over to our first one, the Metamorph. So there's a few changes. We've got mutable form, renamed from extended limbs, which, fair. Also grants temporary hit points. Nice. Organic weapons. Regains its form until you change it or have the unconscious condition. And magic weapons. So there will be magic items that buff them. So that's nice. Flesh Weaver is a new feature, so they've got that added. And life-bending weapons now just adds extra damage without psionic energy dice. Good. Metamorph spells was apparently untouched, so you get, for first rank spells, you get Cure Wounds and Inflict Wounds. Fair. Nice pair to have. It's always cool to see those together. And then for second rank, you get Alter Self and Lesser Restoration, so still a lot of support stuff. Third rank, you're getting Aura of Vitality and Haste. Pretty nice pair. Then fourth rank, you've got Polymorph and Stone Skin, a fitting pair to have once again. Then fifth rank, you're getting Contagion for some reason, which is kind of an out of left field one. I can kind of see why you'd get it, but it does feel kind of... And suddenly, Contagion. What? Sorry, I had to cough there. Then we get Mass Cure Wounds as well, which... You got basic Cure Wounds. You get the big Cure Wounds. Fair enough. So, yeah, it's a fine spell list. Bit awkward having a melee spell, but not as awkward considering what they're going for, yet still fail miserably at. Yeah. Let's get this out of the way. There is not a new third level feature. Specifically, a durability increase of any kind on the Metamorph. I am sorry. I still have to rank this as a big fail. I would not touch this subclass until they add a passive defense increase. They really, really need it, Wizards. So, yeah. Like, no passive defense increase just kills it. But anyway, mutable form, bonus action, expend a psionic energy die, roll it, and for 1 minute, you get the benefits. So you get temporary points equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier, so at the very least, a slight increase to your toughness, but it's not going to do much. You're still a d6 hit die class with only with no armor. So you have no armor, you have no hit points. Those temporary hit points aren't going to save you, especially when it's on a limited use feature you only want to use once. And the benefits you get: plus 5 foot reach, plus 5 foot speed, and when you cast a spell with a touch range, its range is now 10 feet. So, decent. It does help you stay slightly further back. Not by much, but it's there. Yeah. Not an amazing feature, but it's something at least. It's slightly improved. It's nothing amazing, but it's there. Organic weapons, though. As a magic action, you can form one of the weapons take attack action, you can use that instead. And you can use magic action to change it from one weapon to another. And your limb returns to its previous form when you are unconscious. And you can use your intelligence modifier for the attack and damage rolls. Nice! You're not gonna be even more mad than you already were. Thank you. So we get the Bone Blade, simple melee, and it has finesse for some reason. Even though you do not really need it, though hypothetically, with Metamorph, you could go full Dex and drop Intelligence, so that's useful. So you can have more Dex and Con, but it's not amazing. Yeah, it is what it is. And if at least one of your allies is in 5 feet of the target, and they aren't incapacitated, you have advantage on the attack roll. What the crazes, wizards? Okay, that is a massive boost. That might be a bit too good. Then we get the Flesh Maul. It's just D10 bludgeoning damage. And on hit, it has disadvantage on next strength or con save. So that can lead to some silly shenanigans for setting up combos. Nothing amazing, but it's kind of cool to see that. Just a shame the benefit of the Bone Blade is infinitely better. And the extra damage isn't going to help too much. It does give you access to Crusher instead of Slasher, which not the most benefit. And then we got the Viscera Launcher. Still has a kind of short 30-foot range. Not amazing, but it's workable. D6 damage, and it's acid, not piercing. Kind of weird that there's no piercing option. Or actually, no, it's no slashing option, because the Bone Blade is piercing. Which actually... oh boy. That means you can pair this with Piercer. You know, the one that does ludicrous damage when you crit. Yeah. That might need a nerf. The only thing on Metamorph that needs a nerf. Viscera Launcher, though. Kind of weird that it's acid, but fair enough, I guess. And once on each of your turns when you hit a creature with it, deal 1d6 extra damage. So just get some extra damage. Lets you stay at a range. Currently, the only option actually worth touching, because you do not want to be using the melee ones. So, yeah. The melee ones kind of feel like, well, if I have to, I'll switch to it, but I'd rather stick to the Viscera Launcher. It's just the only good option right now. If you're going to play this bad subclass, you're stuck with it. You don't have durability, you gotta stick at range. 6th level, you get extra attack, which, yeah, it's nice. And when you use the attack action, you use a Psion cantrip that uses a standard action instead of one of those attacks. Neat bonus. I don't know if there's anything really too spicy to use with that. Never mind, they have True Strike. I take that back. That is a very powerful feature. And yeah, you're probably sticking with True Strike on this class. Which does help their damage quite a bit. Yeah, this is a True Striker. Have fun with that. So we got Flesh Weaver then, also at 6th, so nice new ability. When you use Mutable Form, so you're already spending a Psionic Energy die on that, so you can spend an additional one to get the following benefits. Organic Defense for +2 AC. What the crazes. Why is this not a default? It should not take till 6th level to get a defense bonus of any kind. Even a kind of bad one. It's not a great one, but I would much rather have this. It should not... Like, this is an insult right now. As it is, no, I do not want to see stuff like this. It's just a big slap in the face. And we have Empowered Healing. When you cast a spell, the spell slot that restores HP to one or more creatures, you can expend a psionic energy die, in addition to the one you spent to activate this. Roll it, and add that to the hit points regained. Yeah, this feature sucks. It does. I appreciate trying to add something to this level, but I think Empowered Healing on its own was fine. Put Organic Defense, just at the very least, have it as a default part of Mutable Form. Please. Or maybe have it as part of Organic Weapon, where while you have, maybe as part of having the Bone Blade or Flesh Maul, you get the defense increase. Does that not make sense? You know, maybe you get +3 AC when you have the Bone Blade or Flesh Maul. Yeah, that would be amazing to have any durability increase on this. Baseline. It is bad. Not a fan of Flesh Weaver. Locking these behind. Because at least Empowered Healing... And it'd also say... also extend this to spells that remove conditions. Though actually, I guess it wouldn't really help. But this one, I think it's fine. Because it does actually hit multiple spells. It hits Cure Wounds, it hits Aura of Vitality, and it hits Mass Cure Wounds. So it's actually... It's fine. So Empowered Healing, I would just have completely severed from it, and then move Organic Defense to the baseline somewhere. It should be at 3rd level somewhere. Just anywhere at 3rd level, please. So yeah, going to Improved Mutable Form. So, when you use Mutable Form, it now has 10-minute duration. Nice. And you get one of the following bonuses. Either Stony Epidermis. You have advantage on con saves to maintain concentration, so very nice if you're going in melee, and you get resistance to a damage type. Very nice if you're going in melee as well. So this one is definitely a melee one. Definitely a useful benefit for just improving your survivability and your ability to keep your spells up. Just a shame that there's one that kind of invalidates it. Then we get Superior Stride. While you're not wearing armor, you can dash as a bonus action and have a climb speed and swim speed equal to your speed. Neat mobility bonus. This is one of the ones you'll be using a lot, unless you specifically need a resistance, in which case Stony Epidermis is great. But Superior Stride is kind of you'll probably be using this if you're ranged, unless you need one of the other benefits. And then Unnatural Flexibility. Why is a +1 bonus to AC for free and Immutable Form locked behind this? Yeah, thank you. Now, granted, what this does would be fine. It's just in the current state of the subclass, that sort of stuff should be baseline. It's so now I get an AC increase, and it kind of makes it where it's well, Stony Epidermis would be good, but the +1 AC is also really useful. And you can just squeeze through anything. Yeah. It's good, and you escape with only 5 feet of movement from being grappled. That's nice. However, it is kind of a, oh boy, like, great. A durability increase where it really shouldn't be. So, then we get life-bending weapons. So when you hit with an attack roll using an organic weapon, roll a psionic energy die and deal that much necrotic damage. And that doesn't expend the die. So basically you just add a psionic energy die to the damage. Now, do note, this is every hit. That's a lot of damage. But yeah, that's good. It's fine, though I question whether or not that should be once per turn. Hypothetically speaking, that should probably be once per turn. Then, as an alternatively, you can expend a psionic energy die and roll it. And you deal that much damage to the target and each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation. Or actually, no, you deal the extra damage, and then each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation from you can regain hit points equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. And you can only do that once. Though actually, I wonder if that's once you use it, you can't do it till the start of your next turn. I wonder if that's actually supposed to apply to the feature as a whole. But, I don't know. Not entirely sure. Some more clarity would be nice there. But overall, fine feature. But unfortunately, it just starts out so awful. I cannot recommend Metamorph. Until they give it a flat durability increase at 3rd level, it's unplayable. It's a D6 unarmored class. You're not playing it. Then we have the Psykinetic. The one that I want to like the most, but unfortunately it has bad back end. So we've got Stronger Telekinesis as a new feature. Telekinetic techniques, you just use it more. That said, I do question this change a bit, because now it's spammable by everyone, not just the Psykinetic. But it does still buff it. Then Destructive Trance. No longer uses psionic modes, but of course it doesn't. And you can add a psionic energy die to your spell damage without expending it. So, neat. Resounding Field. Grants temporary hit points, whether the target fails or succeeds. Okay. You got Enhanced Telekinetic Crush. Now adds the energy die expended to the spell's damage, and Heightened Telekinesis only requires psionic energy dice and doesn't expend the spell slot. Okay. Psykinetic spells for 1st rank, we got Shield and Thunderwave. Fine. 2nd rank, we get Cloud of Daggers and Levitate. At least Cloud of Daggers is actually kind of usable. 3rd rank, you get Slow and Telekinetic Crush. Neat. 4th rank is Autolux, Resilient Sphere, and Stone Shape. Not the most amazing set, but neat. Then 5th rank, we get Telekinesis and the ever-annoying Wall of Force. It fits. Kind of potent, though. Stronger Telekinesis, then Mage Hand has 30-foot more range and can carry even more. My only complaint is they should have let you use this to shove, like in Baldur's Gate beta. Oh, I wish it made it to the Mage Hand of Truth. That would have been funny. But you get Telekinetic Propel. So, level 3 for Telekinetic techniques. When you use Telekinetic Propel, you can use a D4 instead of rolling a psionic energy die. You can spam it now anyway. This didn't need to be added. Granted, it does slightly affect the feature, but I think this might be a bit too good. Being able to, on a bonus action, shove people, push or pull people 5 to 20 feet every turn with your bonus action. What the crazes? And when the target fails the save against your telekinetic propel, you can do one of the following. Let's go up to it. You can boost. The target speed is increased by 10 feet till the start of your next turn. So if it's an ally, you can boost them. You can disorient them so they can't make opportunity attacks. Good as a get away from me and runs effect, as like, everyone run! And then telekinetic bolts, they take force damage equal to the number rolled. Which I guess this is why the D4 is there, but I would probably tweak this to, instead, telekinetic bolt just says it does one roll of psionic energy damage. Just as a way to tweak it around to be a bit more acceptable. Though maybe also have it, maybe it's like, oh, it just does 1 damage if you didn't expend anything. So it's like, just, okay, 1 damage. Or it's like, intelligence modifier plus the number rolled, with a minimum of 1, but it's like, if you didn't expend a psionic energy die, then it's just intelligence modifier damage. Which, it's fine. I just think the D4 spamming it with is a bit unnecessary. So then we get Destructive Trance. Start your turn, you expend a psionic energy die. And for 10 minutes, you have a fly speed of 20 feet, can hover. And we cast this Psion spell that expends a spell slot. You can roll a psionic energy die, add it to the damage roll, and it doesn't expend psionic energy dice. Cool. Kind of would rather have had Potent Thoughts on them. Not necessarily a fan of oh yeah, you gotta enter this mode. Also, the weird stacking redundancy with one of the disciplines. Let me double check which one. It was Sharpened Mind. That's a bit awkward. Kind of weird that it kind of has a weird stacking thing with the discipline. It's kind of weird. But as it is, it's fine. I would rather have Potent Thoughts, honestly. Rebounding Field. When you cast Shield in response to being hit and cause the attack to miss, aka every time you're ever casting Shield, you can expend a psionic energy die to launch the force back at the attacker. They have to make a dex save, and they take force damage equal to 1 roll of your psionic energy die, plus your intelligence modifier. If they succeed, they take half that damage. Either way, you get temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt, which I think is it is actually halved if they, which I think is actually halved. So a neat feature, and the only one of these I'm going to say I actually kind of like. The other two have a major problem going on with them, but we'll get into that. So 10th, we get Enhanced Telekinetic Crush. When you cast Telekinetic Crush, you can expend a psionic energy die to modify it so when a creature fails or succeeds the save, their speed is halved till the start of your next turn. And in addition, you can roll a psionic energy die and add it to the damage roll of the spell. So it's nice, but this is the only feature. They really should have something else at 10th. If anything, I would say maybe move the spammable D4 telekinetic propel to here. So it's like, you don't immediately get it, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. And instead, that is moved over to here. And it's like, oh, yeah, like, now you roll the d4, so you're always doing a bit more. So you get a buff to telekinetic techniques, and the potential buff to telekinetic crush. Not the kind of design I liked. I'm sad this is still around, but oh well. Then 14th, heightened telekinesis. You can cast telekinesis without a spell slot by expending 4 psionic energy dice. When you cast it this way, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration, but the duration is 1 minute, and you can target gargantuan creatures and objects. Once again, I kind of wish this wasn't the only feature, though I'd also say I kind of wish there was a way to get the benefits, even if you cast it with spell slots. But, oh well. It's decent, but I still wish there was another feature. I mean, I could see an argument for having the telekinetic techniques D4 here instead of 10th, and have something new at 10th, but basically, my input, add something new at 10th and 14th, or maybe even move Destructive Trance to 10th, the D4 of telekinetic techniques to 14th, and then add Potent Thoughts at 6th. I think, thinking about it, yeah, that's how I would do it. Just to make sure that you don't have this, oh, buff 1 spell features. I didn't really like them that much before. Some of them were fine, but these were like, oh, as the only feature, I hate it. They are not... It's almost as bad as having a level taken up by a die size increase to stuff like Battlemaster Maneuvers or Arcane Archer arrows. Hypothetically speaking, it's not that bad, but it's not great to have such a limited use feature as your only feature there. So, the Telepath. Mind Infiltrator only expends 1 psionic energy die, so it's been cheapened. Telepath spells has some new stuff. So these will be new spells that are in this. Telepathic Distraction is a new feature replacing Telepathic Hub. Bulwark Mind no longer uses psionic modes, and you can add 1 psionic energy die to a saving throw without expending it. Nice buff. Potent Thoughts also increases the telepathy range, so that's been moved over to here. Then Scramble Minds doesn't expend a spell slot, and you get to choose the behavior of the target instead of rolling dice. So that was a fun one. Mind Infiltrator. When you cast Detect Thoughts, you can expend 1 psionic energy die to modify the spell so it doesn't require components or concentration. And in addition, when you use the Read Thoughts, target doesn't know you're probing its mind if it fails the whiz save. Nice. That's a fun one. Now, Telepath spells. So, for first rank spells, you get Bane and Command. Decent pair. Then, for second rank, you get Detect Thoughts, as alluded to here, and Mind Spike. Once again, nice too. Makes sense. Third rank, you get Counterspell and Slow. Not sure why they don't get Major Image, but oh well. Not like there's any enchantment spells at that rank, actually. But these two are fine. Fourth rank, you get Compulsion and Confusion. Fair enough. Then fifth rank, you get Modify Memory and Yolanda's Regal Presence. Yeah, that fits. It fits. So, yeah, decent set. No real complaints or weird ones. It works. Telepathic Distraction, then, is the new one. So when a creature in range of your telepathy hits with an attack roll, you can use a reaction and subtract a psionic energy die from the roll. And the die is only expended if you make them miss. awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's a nice feature. Definitely a bit better than what they had before. Maybe a bit powerful, but it is what it is. Bulwark Mind then at 6th. So you can expend a Psionic Energy at the start of your turn. Strengthen your mind for 10 minutes. You have resistance to psychic damage. And when you make a Int, Wiz, or Charisma save, you can roll a Psionic Energy die and add that to the roll. Can't use the benefit if you're incapacitated, but of course you can't. Potent Thoughts is Potent Thoughts, but this is where the range doubling is moved to, so it's just up to 60 feet. No other upgrades, but you don't need it because the telepathy is actually decent at 3rd level, or 1st level. Telepathic Bolstering then. When a creature you can see fails an ability check or misses with an attack roll, use a reaction, roll Psionic Energy die, add it to the d20, and the die is only expended if the check succeeds or the attack hits. Perfect. Scramble Minds then, when you cast Confusion, you can cast it for free by spending 4 Psionic Energy dice, and when you cast Confusion this way, you can modify it so the sphere is a 30-foot sphere, and you can choose one creature you can see to automatically succeed the saving throw. And when a creature under the effect of the spell starts its turn, you choose their behavior instead of having them roll. I think that last effect might actually just be a passive. I don't know. It's not listed here in this paragraph, so I'm thinking that's just a passive. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that. So, yeah. Overall, Telepath is pretty good. I kind of like it. Some of the effects might be a bit awkward. Specifically, Bulwark Mind might need something else at 14th level beyond this, but for what it is, I actually kind of like it. I think it's fine. But yeah, without further ado, I will see y'all next time. Halo Zoo, out.